Patrick. Welcome to 7 Week Man. In first part of this chapter, Cell the Unit of Life, we continued till the zygote. Now we are continuing the invention of microscope and the discovery of the cell. As I said in the part 1, before the microscope the humankind was not aware of cell. So the invention of microscope led to the discovery of the cell. First microscope was constructed by the Antony van Leeuwenhoek. He was a Dutch scientist. In 1632 to he lived 1632 to 723. He was an ordinary public official who ground lenses and made microscopic observations as a hobby. It was his hobby to use the microscope, use the and see the microscopic observation. Usually we have the hobby like drawing, writing, reading, playing outside like mobile games and TV. Like that only he had a hobby of seeing the microscopic or observing the microscopic images formed by the microscope. He constructed 400 microscopes that are all simple, that consisted only a single biconvex lens. Note it down. So I will tell the important thing from the first microscope to Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Mark it down, it is very important. Then from 1 2 3 4 5 fifth line, sixth line, basically to the biconvex lens. Mark it down, it is very important. They can ask in exam. The microscope he constructed was all simple microscope. They only consisted a single biconvex lens. Some of these microscope had a considerable magnifying power up to 200 times. One of Leeuwenhoek's microscope is shown in figure 2.1 here. 2.1, this one. It is not even looking like microscope. It is looking like some doorbell, or right? It is looking like a doorbell, but don't get fooled, it is not a doorbell, it is microscope. At that time, in this microscope the eye was kept to the close to the lens on one side and the object was mounted on the needle screw point on the opposite side of the lens. Okay, so here there is lens. Can you see? No, you can't see because the book is actually inverted. If you have the book, it is good. Here the lens is here and the screw is here. The object is kept somewhere here. We'll keep the eye on the lens here. Like that he used to see the microscopic images. Next, Robert Hooke, 1635 to 1703, an English scientist, developed a microscope using two lenses for achieving greater magnification. Such microscopes are called compound microscope. What is compound microscope? The compound microscope is a microscope which consisted of two biconvex lens. This and all is not important. Here the electron microscope over 2 lakh times. This and all are not important here. Till here the 2 lakh times, you can see, right? This one I have marked it. Till here it is important, that's all. This and all is not necessary to read. And next comes the cell theory. So there is a progress check. Bad news is I'm not going to tell the answer. You should write your answer own. If I tell the answer, there is no use of teaching. You should write the progress check of your own. Next, cell theory. In 1838, Matthias Schliden, what a weird name, right? A German botanist announced that every plant is made up of large number of cells. He added that each of these cells perform various life processes. A year later, Theodor Scaven, a German zoologist, made similar discoveries in animals. He declared that all animals and plants are composed of cells which serve as unit of structure and function. This in short is called the cell theory. So here they have mentioned that in 1838 Matthias Schliden discovered that every plant is made up of huge number of cells. Only plants. He didn't discover that even animals are also composed of cells. He only knew that plants is made up of huge number of cells. A year later, Theodor Scaven, a German zoologist, made similar discovery in animals also. He declared that all animals and plants consisted a cell which serve a unit of structure and function. This in short is called as cell theory. Later, Rodolph Virchow, oh, I can't, if wrong, can you please tell me in comment? I can't really pronounce his name. Virchow in 1858 made an addition to the cell theory by saying all cell arises from the pre-existing cell. Here they gave the cell theory. First, the cell is the smallest unit of structure of all living things. It is the smallest unit of structure in the all living beings. The cell is the unit of function of all living being. It is also the unit of function, also the unit of structure in all living being. All cell arises from the pre-existing. All the cell arises from the pre-existing, as I said in the part 1. Similar to the asexual reproduction of budding, the parental wait, I'll not explain it because I already explained it in part 1. If not, check it out in my channel. What does the cell theory mean? Here they give some structure unit, functional unit, cell dies and get replaced. Most life starts as a single cell. Briefly I will tell this, no need to go deep inside them. So let's take the example of frog and mango as mentioned here. Structure unit. If we take the frog and the mango tree, if we examine under the microscope, it will show the cellular structure. Even if we take the mango tree or we take the frog, we get the similar structure of cellular cells. This is the cellular unit, structural unit of the cell. Next, functional unit. Any function means in animals we need protection against the bacteria like white blood cells, white blood cells and all. White blood cells is also a type of cell. Remember it. White blood cells is cells which protects us against the infections and bacteria and all, which is harmful for our body. Similarly, the mango tree also or any plant also have the same cells which perform specific function, not only protection, specific function like photosynthesis, the chloroplast and all. It is the cells are the functional unit of the life. Next, cell die and are replaced. All the cell dies and get replaced. Sorry, I went to drink the water. Here they wrote, the body of the frog or the mango tree is composed of millions of cells. Many of these cells continuously die and are replaced by the new ones, which is formed by a division of younger cell. The formation of cell from pre-existing cell is never-ending chain until we die. As we die, the what the division of the younger cell will decrease or completely ceases, due to which our body gets decomposed. The formation of cells from pre-existing cells is never-ending chain. It will never stop until we die. The younger cell will always divide until we die. But when we get older, the process will get slower. As we get older, the process will get slower. Next, most of the cell starts as a single cell. As I explained you in the part 1, here they wrote, most organisms including ourselves start life as a single cell, called the zygote. Zygote is the basic first single cell in which we are going to form. In animals, the pollination, due to the pollination and fertilization, due to the pollination and fertilization, we get the zygote. From the zygote, the seed will form, seed will be created, and from that seed the another whole new plant is going to arise. Like that only in humans also, when the sperm enters the egg cell of the female body, female egg cell, the sperm and egg cell fuses to form a zygote. From the zygote only we are here. Now, cells, how many? Wait a second, I will explain you till cell how small. Okay, next, cells how many? The bigger an organism, greater is the number of cell. We have greater number of cell as compared to rat, because the rat is a small organism, but humans are large organism as compared to rat. Single cell, there are three types of celled organism, three types of celled organism: single celled, few celled, and multi celled. Single celled is bacteria, RBC, WBC, and single cell consists only single cell, for example RBC, WBC, bacteria, etc. And few celled organism contain a few hundred or few million, that's all. Few million, few thousands or few millions of cells, for example volvox. And multi-celled are most of the plants and animals we see around us, include ourselves, are made up of millions and billions of cells. Actually, the human body is composed of millions of billions of cells. So here also we are considered as multi-celled organism. For example, human beings and mango trees, rat, lizard, etc. 37.2 trillion cell is in the whole body. In this body, in our body, we have 37.2 trillion. Yappa, we can't imagine only. Trillion, not 1 trillion, not 2 trillion, 37.2 trillion. It is very huge. It is only the general knowledge is not better. It is not to the exam. It is not coming to the exam. Okay, let's stop here. This is the only for part 2. Let's wait for part 3. Till then, goodbye.